Hey guys, welcome to MRCS Hacks. This is a series where we break down surgical topics for the MRCS examinations. Today we're going to be going through the cervical plexus. Now this can seem quite tricky at first, but if you go through it a few times and break it down, it's actually quite simple. So the cervical plexus, as you can see here, is made up of the nerve roots from C1 to C5. The important thing that they test in the cervical plexus is this thing called the Ansa Cervicalis, which is basically a loop of nerves made from C1, C2, C3, and contributions from the cranial nerve 12. So let's start from the top and we'll break it down. So the cervical plexus, made up of the nerve roots from C1 to C5. It first starts with contributions from the cranial nerve 12, which is the hypoglossal nerve. Okay, the fibers of this run above the level of C1 and join together to form the superior root of the Ansa cervicalis. Okay. Now, before we go on to the Ansa cervicalis, the fibers from the cranial nerve 12 go on to supply the muscles of the tongue. These are the styloglossus, hyoglossus, and genioglossus muscles. And the fibers from C1 itself go on to supply the geniohyoid and the thyrohyoid muscle. The inferior root is formed by fibers from C2 and C3. Okay, so we can draw this out, superior root and the inferior root. So the superior root gives off a branch that supplies the superior belly of the omohyoid. This is a long muscle that goes from the hyoid bone and travels back to the spine of the scapula. Okay, and the inferior root of the Ansa cervicalis gives off a branch to supply the inferior belly of the omohyoid. The two muscles that the Ansa cervicalis actually supplies is the sternothyroid and sternohyoid muscle. The next most important nerve is the nerve from C3, C4, and C5. And this is the phrenic nerve. Okay, C3, 4, 5 keeps the diaphragm alive. Okay. Apart from this, another important nerve that's an exam favorite is the greater auricular nerve. Okay, so greater. And these form from the fibers of C3 and C2. C3 and C4 give off fibers that form the supraclavicular nerve. This is basically a sensory nerve that supplies the area of the lateral neck. This is different from the suprascapular nerve, which comes off the nerve roots from the brachial plexus, supplying the infraspinatus and supraspinatus. So don't get them confused. You can watch the Ninja Nerd video, which tells you more details of the individual muscles it supplies, like C1 and C2 give supplies to the rectus capitis muscles and the longus capitis muscles. C3 and C4 also supply the scalene muscles. C5 gives a supply to the rhomboids. But the crux of the Ansa cervicalis and cervical plexus is the stuff here. Okay, so hope you get it. If there's any questions, let me know in the comments box below, and see you in the next one.